And I've seen you since then when comedy started to start back up. And then we had the outdoor shows.
I was gonna say, what parking lot did I run into?
Right.
It's like, didn't you do a stunt out here years ago?
They set up in an alley off Hollywood
Castle?
Boulevard. Not the Magic Castle.
That was a good gig.
Yeah, I heard about that one.
Yeah.
Wasn't that one a drive-in?
Well, when they first had it, the first time I did it, I hadn't done stand-up in like, oh man, well, March was when the shit hit, right? Lockdown, and then we did I think I did that in like June or July. So I always wondered how people stop doing stand-up. It's like, how do you stop? It's so fun. How, like, do you know when it's your last one, right? So when this pandemic hit, remember in the beginning, everyone was like, oh, this is just going to be like, about 14, 21 days, everybody stays inside. Because that's what everybody's going to do.
To the curve.
Because everybody's going to play ball and just listen to the people. No, everybody did whatever the fuck they want to do, which is also what makes this country great. So then all of a sudden I took a month off. I'm thinking, well, I've been doing this shit almost 30 years. This is good to take some time off. And somewhere in May, I just stopped even thinking about stand-up. Just stopped thinking about it. Because I usually, like, I see something, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to talk about that. That's basically how I come up with bits. I see something, I don't write it down. I just kind of go up and just riff on the bullshit, and hopefully it turns into something. And somewhere around May, like, I stopped doing that. And I was watching like cooking videos and shit, like learning souffles or whatever on the internet. And I had this big fucking panic attack, like going like, oh my God, like I kind of like through this virus have sort of quit doing comedy. So anyway, when the first one I did coming back was that one at the Magic Castle. And it was outdoors, which is always,
weird.
You always, if you're doing a show outside, you just automatically feel like you're bombing because like all the light, all the laughs just go up into the clouds and it doesn't come at you. Or if there's like a roof, you can feel like, okay, they still like me.
Yeah.
Let's see if they like me after this one, right?
For sure.
So that was all gone, and they were like in cars. And
beeping.
No, they had those, those stupid things you go like this and it's two hands clapping.
Oh.
So it's like these plastic things. So you tell a joke out into this dark parking lot, and there would just be like this brutal pause that felt like a kick to the chest, and then you just hear a couple.
Yeah. But couldn't they just clap at that point if they're holding a clapper? Like, what's the difference?
Were they holding them outside the windows?
Most people, if they're just told to do something, they do it.
I guess so. Yeah,
so
like,
nobody
okay.
doesn't. People don't start to think. And then you have the other people who think too much, and then they start thinking the world's flat. But there is a sweet spot where you're in a show could be like, or I could just do this.
Right.
And then they were like, they would flick their lights, they beeped. But what I got out of it, it was funny. It was a one show adjustment. By the second show, like those little tick, 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 tick things. I got in the mindset like, oh, this is what killing sounds like. All right, and or having a good set sounds like. But what I got out of it was like the I was saying when I was on there, I go, when this fucking pandemic is over and somebody says to you, hey man, I am the biggest fan of stand-up comedy, you have to say, oh yeah, did you sit in your Ford Focus in a fucking parking lot with plastic hands because you missed hearing jokes? I was like, you guys, yeah, you're like the people that went through like the Depression or the Dust Bowl of like comedy. You can say, I was there, man.
That's funny.
I fucking showed up. Where were you?
America. If you thought Jackass Forever was crazy, oh boy, do I have a show for you. It's a multimedia comedy show called The Bucket List Tour. And the stuff I filmed for this show is way too hot for Jackass. Like the General Anesthesia bike ride, the vasectomy Olympics, and SKYJACKING. The footage is so intense, we have full-grown men passing out at almost every city this bus goes to. So if you think you can handle it, get your tickets right now at stevo.com. Yeah.